Welcome to the 5th edition of the Dog Nation podcast. I'm your host, Christopher Smith, aka Top Dog. Thank you for tuning in to watch our podcast. We appreciate your continued support as we continue to bring you more interviews and more content. This is for you, San Diego, America's finest city. We bring you America's finest players, coaches, fans, and refs. On tonight's broadcast, we're going to talk about Joe Smith, the wide receiver from Mission Hills, and all of his outstanding performance at the Hall of Fame camp in Canton, Ohio this past week. We also are going to talk about some of the IG questions that were asked to me on Instagram that I didn't get a chance to answer. So we're going to do that right here on the podcast. We're also going to talk about my new Twitter header. Many of you have questions about, what is it that I was trying to accomplish and why did I do that? So we're going to address that in tonight's broadcast. And last but not least, we're going to talk to yet another top dog. This time, we're going to bring in a Helix Highlander, Eli Noah, the safety running back and superstar player for the Helix Scotties. We're going to talk about what to expect for his junior season and who to watch and what to watch for the Helix Scotties this coming fall. So with that said, get your popcorn ready, kick off your shoes, and get ready for some good high school football news. Make sure to stop by and read SDFNL Magazine. That's San Diego Friday Night Lights Magazine, the premier prep football magazine in San Diego. SDFNL Magazine brings you such wonderful events as the SDFNL Kickoff Classic and the SDFNL All-Star Showcase, which has helped over 200 high school athletes earn college scholarships. SDFNL Magazine provides in-depth articles about some of the best prep football players in San Diego County. Book your photo shoot with them by contacting them on Twitter using the hashtag SDFNLShoots. Make sure to stop by and read SDFNL Magazine. Make sure you stop by and read the SDCFR, that's the San Diego College Football Report, brought to you by Montel Allen. Get to know your San Diego players that are playing at the next level, whether it's Division I, Division II, Division III, or the NAIA. Montel Allen brings you everything San Diego players in college playing football. Once again, that's the San Diego College Football Report, brought to you by Montel Allen. We'd like to start off by congratulating Joe Smith on his outstanding performance at the NFL Hall of Fame Academy in Canton, Ohio this week. This was a national camp and Joe won the fastest man competition. He was also named Sleeper of the Week by Keith Miller of The Transparent Truth. Joe, we here in San Diego are proud of your efforts and your hard work. Great job and great way to represent San Diego on the national level. Which brings us to Instagram. So, I went on Instagram today and I posted the Ask Top Dog a Question. So let me pull some of these up and I'm going to read some of these responses and see what people had to say. So let's see. Some of these I already answered, so let's see if we can get to some that I didn't. Ooh, Theo Goodwin, the former Christian Patriot, asks, who is the fastest player you've ever seen live in the last 5 years? Well, Theo, I can definitely tell you you're top 5, but you're not the fastest. The fastest player I've ever seen live, high school football player here in San Diego that I've seen live, has to be Nate Stinson of Helix. Nate was there 1 second and gone the next. One of the fastest players I've probably ever seen live. Gabriella Jim from Steel Canyon asks, when are we going to shoot again? Well, Gabby, anytime you're ready, I guess. All you got to do is call me and let me know. District 4, better known as Shamar Martin, asks, who are you taking, Madison or Lincoln? Well, I actually answered this one, but I guess I'll reiterate that. These teams are very competitive, have a lot of similar talent levels. I think if you talk about individual athletes themselves, I'd probably say Lincoln has better skill position players overall, but if I got to pick a team, I'm going to go ahead and take Madison. Simply because Madison has too many weapons, they're well-rounded, and I got to give a slight edge to Brock White at quarterback. I think he's a little bit better than Chris Davila. Davila, so I think I'd have to take Madison in that game. And don't kill me for that. Oh, Matthew V.E. says, why is Matthew V. the freshest offensive lineman to ever play in San Diego? Well, I answered this one too, but I'll answer it again. Matthew, I never said you were the freshest offensive lineman in San Diego. I'm going to have to go ahead and say that would have been Dominic Godino out of Olympian, who's now the center at San Diego State University. I'll take Don for the win. Let's see. What other? Oh, so people want to know how much for a shoot. I can give you my typical prices. Typically, I do 6 photos for $60. Those are all edited, and on top of that, you get to keep all the raw images from our photo shoot. So if you got questions about that, just hit me up on Chris at 619football.com. Let's see. Ooh, here's a good one. Do you think 8-man football should get coverage? You know, no one's ever asked me that before. Typically, I'm an 11-man football guy, but, I mean, football is football. So, yeah, 8-man should probably get some sort of coverage. Maybe that's something we can initiate this year. We don't know. A lot of questions about Chula Vista. It sounds like the South Bay is really paying attention to what I have to say. So, how do I feel about Chula Vista? First of all, let's start with your head coach. I have a tremendous amount of respect for Howard Bannister. He's one of the best coaches and best men that I know in the San Diego football community. So, you know, if leadership is any indication of how your team is going to do this year, you're going to do well. I know Howard is a hardworking coach. You guys have got a lot of talent over there, and I think Chula's going to be a pretty good squad this year. As far as like what the record will be, I'd have to wait a couple games before I say that for sure. Let's see. What's your opinion of the Hilltop offensive line? You're big, you're fast, you're physical, you're strong, and you're ready. Is that concise enough? There you go. Let's see. D5 predictions? I don't have any. I think Mountain Empire is going to be there near the end. That's probably the only one I have. Are the Cavers CIF bound again? You know, I'm going to say yes, simply because I know, you know, head coach Charles James is a good friend of mine, and he's a football guy, man. As long as he's at the helm of the Cavers, it's going to be hard to count them out. They got a lot of talent over there. They're fast. They're physical. And I think, you know, Charles James is going to have those guys ready this year. So I'm going to go ahead and say yes. Thoughts on, let's see. Is UC legit this year? Again, I can't rule out, you know, University City. They've got a tremendous amount of skill position players. You've got Gunnar Gray at quarterback, awesome quarterback. You've got Casey Grandforth. You've got Tariq Jefferson. You've got the running back. You guys have got a lot of talent over there. The only thing I could see that might be an issue this year is the offensive and defensive line play. I don't know if you guys have the bigs to go deep into the playoffs. But I think you're gonna score a lot of points, and your defense is gonna be tough to score on. Who you got week 1, CPH or O'Farrell Charter? I'm assuming you guys are talking about Castle Park High versus the brand new program O'Farrell Charter. I did have a chance to see O'Farrell Charter this last week, and that wasn't so great. I know these guys are young. It's a fresh program. The coaches over there are doing a great job trying to get these kids ready to play varsity football. But there's still a lot of question marks on the team, so I think I'd have to take CPH. So those are some of the questions. I'll be doing that throughout the year. Once in a while, I'll throw up on my Instagram. If you guys don't know what my Instagram is, it's TheTopDog619 on Instagram. Once again, that's TheTopDog619 on Instagram. I'll throw up poll questions. I'll throw up, you know, who do you think is going to win this game, that game, who's a better player. I'll do a bunch of different stuff throughout the season, so make sure you stay tuned to my Instagram. It's good because I feel like it gives me a feel for what do you guys want to hear. I just got a missed face call, but that's okay. So, with that said, let me continue my broadcast. Okay. Earlier this week, let's talk about what everybody really wants to know. Earlier this week, I changed my Twitter header to #BeOriginal. And I put out a tweet that was somewhat skeptical, but it was true in true fashion. It's who I am as Top Dog. The bottom line is, it was announced that Bodie De Silva would be putting up a podcast similar to the Dog Nation. And I wasn't happy about that. So my official comment is this. I'm not a Warriors fan. I like the Lake Show. So for those of you who know what that means, I'm going to leave it right there and say this simply be original. But with like Jay-Z said, with that one, I'm on to the next one. So before we go into tonight's interview, I want to announce a commitment, a few special awards, and a couple offers. First of all, congratulations to Lincoln wide receiver / safety Don Chapman on his commitment to the University of Colorado. Congrats to Mission Hills wide receiver Joe Smith on his outstanding performance at the Hall of Fame Academy in Canton, Ohio. Congratulations to Francis Parker kicker Ryan Sanborn on being selected for the U.S. Army All-American game. Congratulations to University City wide receiver / safety Tariq Jefferson and Helix offensive lineman Isaiah Jada, as both of them received an offer from D2 Tarleton State out of Texas. And last but not least, congrats to modern-day DB Jaden Flores on his offer from the University of Redlands. So, that's our second part of our podcast, and stay tuned as we bring you Eli Noah, the Helix running back safety, younger brother of Division I Boise State linebacker Zeke Noah, now the superstar of the Helix program. Welcome back. Tonight, my guest, you might know him. He's the little brother of a D1 linebacker at Boise State. He's also the heart and soul of the Helix Scotties. That's none other than Eli. His official name is Eli Noah, but running back safety, but everybody calls him Fado. So, Fado, thank you for joining me tonight on the Dog Nation podcast. We're excited to have another Scotty in the house.
Thank you, man.
So let's get right into it. I mean, a lot of people want to get to know you. You're kind of one of the enigmas in the county. Not many people know you or get to actually watch you play. So what's it like for you to be a featured player on one of the royalty football programs in San Diego County?
Oh, sheesh, where do I start? I mean, Helix is a good program. A lot of good players come out of Helix, especially the coaching staff. Even though we got a new coach, but the coach is a good coach. Led us to 2 championships already, but a lot of footsteps you have to fill, shoes to fill.
Okay. Well, you know, that's at Helix. What's it like at home? Because there's so much football talent in the Noah household. I mean, you've got 2 older brothers. They're both Helix studs. What's it like to follow in their footsteps and play at the same school?
Man, the bar is pretty set high, but my pops doesn't really set us for less. He always pushing us. We always competing, saying who's better and stuff, but we all play different positions. But I mean,
Is it fair to say that it's competitive in the Noah household?
Yep. Start fighting over it.
Okay. So, you know, I hear a lot about your little brother who plays for Clark Moses down there at the East Lake Panthers. Many say he's going to be the best Noah of all time. What's your take on that?
Man, I think he would be. I mean, everyone said I was going to be better than Zeke, but it didn't come out to be like that. But anyway, back to my little brother. He got a long ways to go, but I think he should be better than both of us.
So what advice would you give your little brother?
High school football, man, is no joke. Man, Helix don't take no tolerance to just foolish little games. And when my pops tell you what to do, don't give it, because you're going to make it work for you.
Okay. You know, one of the most impressive things about your high school career is you actually started as a true freshman at Helix. So congratulations, first of all, on that. You got to play a full season with your older brother. What was it like playing with Zeke as a freshman?
As I said again, high expectations, man. Zeke always telling me what to do, and like no one's gonna take it easy on me, even though I'm a freshman. Like during practice, and we'll go all out. I was always on the scout team, getting beat up, but I learned from it though.
Okay, so what do you like playing better? You like being a safety, or you like being a running back?
I mean, I'm a running back first and foremost, but safety, it'll do too.
Anything for the team, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So give us a few players that we need to watch out for on the Helix Scotties this year.
There's a lot. I mean, we have a lot of young guys coming in, but especially Michael Shawcroft, Jagger Giles, another linebacker, Jacob Ray, our quarterback, probably Delshawn Traylor, and our wide receiver, man, we have a bunch of wide receivers. I mean, I can't even name them. There's too many of them. And Coach Parker, as they coach, she's gonna be a good year for us. So
what can we expect out of you in your junior season this year? Any personal goal? Let's say any personal goals you set for yourself that kind of the benchmark for what you expect of yourself this year.
Just play to my ability. You know what I'm saying? Just at least show what I can do. I mean, I'm not really worrying about college recruiting right now. Just trying to show people what I can do for the field, show everybody what I can do for Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's gonna be a good season.
What expectations do you have for the Highlanders, for your entire team? What is your expectations of this team this year?
Just take every rep like it's your last, man, because you don't know when it's going to be your last game, the last rep.
Okay. So, I couldn't help but look over your schedule. The first 4 games are very, very tough. I mean, how does the team stay motivated when you've got such a heavy early season schedule like that? How do you guys stay motivated?
Staying motivated, just always keeping our heads high. Even though we have tough opponents, our coaches are always pushing us every rep. But just always giving 100% every rep. That's what all coaches ask for, effort. They can learn from mistakes, but effort is what coaches teaches us, what motivates us. Okay.
Well, Elian, thank you for joining us tonight. I love the Noah family. I feel like I'm an honorary Noah. I mean, I've been around you guys for 5 or 6 years now, so I watched you grow up. I remember when you were just a little wee pup. So, before we go, any special shout outs that you want to give, family, friends, anybody, coaches, anybody?
I just want to give a shout out to my coaches, Coach O, Coach Amaz, all them, Helix fam, and shout out to my Michael Brown, his pops, man. Keep him in prayers. Thank you, man. God bless, bro.
All right, well, thank you for joining us tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Eli Noah, safety, running back, one of the great Noah players that come through Helix, and we hear there's one more coming. So, thanks for joining us for us, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.